Hey folks, how's it going? RedMaster here, and welcome back to another episode of Cards and Castles TV commentary. I think we're getting pretty close to about 100 episodes of this series, so hopefully we can keep that going. But today we do have some matches to get to, so why not hold you back any further? Let's go ahead, folks, and jump right in to the first match of this episode. Alright, folks, and that first match will be our good friend, Vicious Val, oviciouz, taking on LULUKIng here. A bit of Ninja Warlock, which we can assume potentially is awakened there, going up against the Viking Crusaders. We'll see what Val's got in store for us, as we are in his perspective, after all, for this game. So, we'll go ahead and see how that works here. He is running the Faithful Drake here, so maybe some dragons, but overall, some pretty simple things here. The Rat King, the Pillars, the Lightning Blades, and whatnot. We do see a dojo from Lulu, so that is, of course, going to guarantee that Awakening is the central strategy of Lulu's deck for this game. And starting off pretty aggressively here with the Soldier into right, I guess, to get some cycle going, which is fine. Not sure how impactful it's going to be later down the line, but still... that is okay here. Val gonna opt to take the 2 damage off of the Faithful Drake here, getting that early lead here. Although Lulu responds with the Alpha Strike, so that is going to clear off the Faithful Drake. And Val is up with a Meditation as well here, so making quite the beefy soldier. Val can trade with it though. The Blacksmith is a good pull for that, but instead opting to L-Blade against Castle, which does take out the dojo, which of course is also a fair play. At that point, he cuts off the draw engine of Awakening, and really that's what they rely on very heavily in matches. So the dojo down is going to be a big disadvantage for Lulu. Although Val has to rebuild the board a little bit here, he is going to open with the Green Drake for his next turn and plant that in front of Castle. The 6-2 Soldier can trade with that here. Actually, can it survive a trade? We see the Saurus play now. That might... Yeah, it does actually survive. So a 10-6 Soldier now in the face of a Saurus. Although, unfortunately, my friend, that isn't strong positioning against Vikings. But we're actually going to Rat King here, which I guess is also a fair play to make. I would expect that Val maybe would have gone for the Freezing Pillar strategy, but... I guess maybe nervous of Headwood, although this position isn't really good for Headwood either. And we do see Dragon's Fire hit the board here. So, of course, that does clear out the remainder of Val's units, which is unfortunate. He can rebuild, though. Dragon Search, Aeroth in hand. We'll see he pulls off the Search for turn. Does yield him a Shadow Drake, which I think has to be the play here. We'll probably see the Soldier fall to it, because, of course, that is the healthier of the two. The Saurus can be taken out very easily here, but we'll opt to trade that away in favor of setting up a Golem. Alright, so of course one of the big hitters of Awakening coming out now. How will Val respond to it is the real question here. We do see the Temple and the Priest for turn, so of course doing additional body blocking here. Maybe trying to get a better spot for the Freezing Pillar, although multi-strike coming in now, that is not going to be good. Golem is going to connect to the Priest, and of course it does land a 8-shot onto the Castle. Followed up with the armor here to keep it alive just a little bit longer here. That is pretty beneficial as well. We are going to see, though, Book's going to hit the board here. And finally, Freezing Pillar does drop down. It does kind of freeze off the Golem for a turn. We'll see if Lulu has any ways to deal with this. He actually has a Vanish for his Golem. Okay. Fear pushing Books out of the way. Not back completely because the Temple's in the way. So we are going to get that draw. Although now the Pillar pretty much worthless in the back here, which is... that's certainly something. I guess Vanish is not really a bad card either. I will have to hold on before that keeps going. I will say Vanish is an interesting tech choice for Awakened decks because they can use that to reignite Awakened effects, whether it's just the units themselves or the more likely and more powerful way to really utilize the Vanish is to bring back the Saurus, throw it back out, and reignite all those Awakened effects again. So that is probably why that is in here. But you don't really see it too often because outside of Saurus, it's kind of debatable on how good a Vanish is for a certain unit, depending on what position it's in. For things like maybe Headwood, you can afford to bounce it because then you can reset that damage. But things like the Soldier, things like the Imp, the Sensei, the Dancing Swords, they're not really benefiting off of that bounce. I mean, they could get the Awaken trigger effect, sure. But you know, bouncing them, I think, isn't really the strongest that you can use, or the strongest way you can utilize those cards. But anyway, we'll see if I'm proven wrong in the rest of the matchup here. Val going to go ahead and throw out the Yarm Giant to meet the Golem. Looks like neither can kill each other this turn, so that is fine. And of course, Lulu going with, ooh, right Shodan. So of course it does get the jump on the Yarm Giant here. This is looking not so good for Val. We do see the books go into the White Knight. Golem landing another huge shot for some additional damage, and the pass back for his turn. Lumberjack here. Okay, we got to start pulling something, you know, more useful here. Thankfully, the chain is going to provide a little bit of value here. Freezing Pillar, a major pickup. We can use the Aeroth and set that up. So that, of course, is going to freeze off the Shodan, the Golem, and the White Knight. And force Lulu to actually have a response in a single card, which is kind of difficult to do here. Saurus is fine, but it doesn't really do what I think Lulu wants. It doesn't really remove the big threat of the Pillar, freezing off the units here. And now all Lulu can do is just charge the Saurus down, which we imagine is going to be met by the Kraxus. So, of course, the Kraxus is going to chain a little bit more here, but also, more importantly, picking up some additional cards, which I imagine are going to be used here. The Lumberjack, yeah, it's going to probably kill off the White Knight, or advance forward, either or. That does work. And it's going to force Lulu again to have a response in pretty much one card to all this, and it looks like he doesn't. So Val does pick up game number 1 of the episode here. Very nicely done from Vicious, turning a rough situation around here. And yeah, Freezing Pillar coming in quite strong here. At the very moment, I think he needed that for sure. But overall, a fantastic match to start us off for the day. We do have more matches to get to, though, so let's go ahead and jump into our next match. Alright, folks, our next match will be, I think, Freng taking on Ninja here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to jump right into that one right about now. And both colors that, you know, you kind of see floating around here. Red-blue has a variety of things, while green-yellow, of course, can very much be a school deck here, so we'll just have to see if that's the case. But looking at the opening hand for Ninja here, a bit off. You got Keeper, Wraith, Temple, and Avalanche. Avalanche could come into play here, but the rest of his hand isn't looking too hot until the late game, which you don't want to give School that time to set up here. And actually, the School deck being maybe a bit more aggressive here, going with the Elvish Thief to open up here. Ninja not able to respond to that. We do see the second Keeper in hand. That isn't necessarily going to be great for us at this point, but that is okay. Eye of Flame, though, from Ninja is very interesting to take a look at. So, we'll see if that gets utilized inside the rest of the game here. But, of course, obviously taking another 3 and passing back. Avoiding the Avalanche Trap trigger, which I don't know if he means to do, but it's certainly working here. King Crab summon, though, for the next turn, and that does trigger the Avalanche. So, of course, that and the Elvish Thief will be frozen in place here. This does actually allow Ninja to get a hugely valued Keeper off onto the board here. It can kill off the Elvish Thief while giving him that additional unit that he needs. Banshee, a great pickup. Of course, it gets that minor spell after death. LoreMaster coming out now. That is certainly going to be a problem. We don't have any ways of dealing with that right at this very moment here, but we are going to try and find it. Keeper connecting into face again, or face for the first time, excuse me. Picking up a Wraith and the Gravestalker to come out and follow up for a turn here. That is fine, because of course it does produce some more units on the board here. But more importantly, we do see the Cloak playing to freeze that King Crab, which of course could do some major damage if left unchecked. Although mugging into the Tarius will pretty much neutralize the Keeper. Keeper can be utilized for this Cloak, which I think we are going to see. And of course, Banshee Fire Drake for Ninja to follow up with, now trying to, of course, throw down some more pressure onto the board here. I think he wants to get some massive use out of the Temple, because Temple plus Fire Drake is honestly a very, very fun combination of cards there. So we'll see if that gets utilized. But of course, Freng here drawing a lot more cards, thanks to the Tarius now in hand, and of course the Robins coming out is certainly going to be problematic, because now we can play a bit more from our hand here. We see the mugging landing on the Banshee, another King Crab coming out, and unfortunately not being able to kill off the Keeper there, just by the way that that King Crab horizontal movement works. I'm not sure if that was intentional, maybe we forgot about that, but this is going to leave the Keeper to actually position nicely for another round of freeze here, this time freezing off the majority of units here, including both Crabs and the Robins. I'll be curious to see how Ninja actually sets up in the next turn here. I mean, like, what will he do to follow up? He has options to Mordok, but he also has Eye of Flame, which can be played now, because, of course, he's got that Keeper body here, so we'll see which direction he goes. Goes for the more funny direction in Eye of Flame. I love it. I think French's board is mostly frozen this turn, so not much that he has currently on board that can interact. Oh, no. The Reclaim will take the Eye of Flame from French here, knock out, eliminating the Keeper of the Doorway from face there. And of course, it means that the Cloak of Ice is no longer in play. A second Tarius as well to follow up here. All nasty stuff here. We do see the Mordok come out though for turn. It does going to trade with the Robin here. We do get the Wraith, which is a nice pull. We're going to bot face a little bit here to try and even out the damage just a little bit here. We are still down by 8 points. Probably more because this King Crab now can run to face here. We'll see the Tarius is going to go ahead, do their thing, damage it. And actually the King Crab that's up furthest takes the kill on the Wraith here, which I don't necessarily agree with. I think you could have done the other King Crab, hit the Wraith, kill that, move the Wraith that was up closer to castle into face, and force Ninja to have a response to it. But no, we don't take that option here. We do go for the Frog Prince as well for turn, which of course, it just seems like this deck has a lot of big bodies in the mid-game slot here. Frog Prince, King Crab, and Tarius for draw, which is absolutely brutal at points. We do see the Wraith Temple combination now coming into play here. This will act a little funny here, doing a bit of fear chain work. But ultimately, I don't think is going to be enough at the moment. Of course, the Eye of Flame can easily bop the Wraith for absolutely free. Or we're going to backstab it. We're not even going to kill it off with the Wraith. We're going to get some more treasure value out of it, which is fine, I guess, here. But yep, now the additional King Crab now moving to connect to face. Hands of the Saint onto the Frog Prince, so keeping that thing healthy, not bothering to kill the castle. And this might be it for Ninja. Not entirely sure how he can recover from this. He's got a lot coming down. He does get some chain off, which is good. Yep, and that chain does that, so we do get the Tarius and the estate as well. We have a total of 8 damage coming to face now, so if there's a global in French's deck, that is going to be game, although the connection of both King Crabs there tell me that that is not the case. And of course, now Krax is running down the School of Knowledge for follow-up here. It feels like there is too much to actually consider here. I do see the Banshee that is going to make a trade here into the King Crab. Some chain taken out. The Cloak of Ice, that's a cool pickup, but there's not a whole lot that really can be done with that, unfortunately. We don't have another unit to properly connect that to, and yeah, that is going to be a game over. Oh, wow. The Eye of Flame Reclaim. I have no words, honestly. When I first saw that, I was pretty taken aback by, well, one, the Eye of Flame being run in the deck, and 2, the exact Reclaim counter. That's pretty wild, honestly. It really is. And that goes to show that a lot of people can bring just about anything into ranked nowadays. So you have to be pretty open to what is in these faction colors. So that way you could properly plan around things like Reclaim, or be able to find ways to adapt to things like Eye of Flame. It's pretty weird. It's pretty wild. But yeah, quite a game for game number 2. Congrats to French for winning that. But folks, we do have one more match to go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into that match and see what's in store for us. And for our final match of the day, folks, we're going to be seeing, I believe this is Scacha, hopefully pronounced that right, taking on Lordinsertio. Hopefully, again, pronounced that right. I'm just going to go with Lord just because it's easier for me at this point. But Pirate Warlock going up against another Pirate Crusader deck. So Pirate Crusader already 1-0 for the day. Can they make it 2? We'll see in this matchup here. We're going to start out with some Lumberjack early aggression here. Lord getting the first shot on Castle. Scacha not able to respond with turn 2, including having that metal. So hand maybe not looking too strong there. But we do see the Southport Captain now coming into play. We do get the Dragonport for follow-up. Okay, so a lot of ramp coming down from both sides. Lumberjack and Captain, I imagine, getting their shots in while they can. Yep, bringing the castle down to 15. Although Lord not really having much options to use this gold for. 1 gold short of Villaroth on turn 4. So instead has to play the Master Thief, which is only going to get him, again, I think 6 gold in the next turn. So hopefully he'll find some way to utilize that gold. But we'll see how Scacha responds now having 7 gold of his own. 8, excuse me, into the turn for Craxus. My goodness. If that wasn't sort of a big defiant statement, I don't know what is here. Dragon's Fire, though, is going to help clean up Craxus just a little bit without giving it too much value. We do see the Thief going into it. Lumberjack taking yet another chip from the castle, bringing the total to 14. Although Scacha has some responses here, going into the hovel, going into the Southport Captain now. Lumberjack is going to, of course, pick Lord the Mordok into hand here. And we'll see how he responds. Moving with the Dancing Swords now. This is actually lethal when you look at it here, because not only do you have the Demonic Rage, which will bring the Dancing Swords up to 14 exact, because of that 7 he gets from the Awaken effect, but you also have the Fear, which of course can push back any body blocker to make way for the swords to come in. So we'll see how Scacha responds to the potential lethal threat here. We do see the Trap go down. We do see Shaman, Southward Captain, and folks, that would be lethal, right? That would be lethal. You see the Fear come down. You do see the swords move in. Demonic Rage, yep, there it goes. 14 exact, but folks, we do have the Eternal Judgment Trap. So, of course, these swords get completely shut down there. And the OTK off of Lord has been lost here. Scacha pulling big brain duty with the Eternal Judgment to potentially block the OTK. Which, I mean, now, like, you can just go into other cards here. We do see a Shaman come into play here, another Thief. He's got a massive hand from all the drawing that he's done, I think, over the last several turns. So we'll see how Lord's able to respond. Dragon's Fire is a good start. It does take out a lot of the board here, keeping only a Shaman alive for Scacha. And the Hovel, which will produce the Rats. But, you know, that's Dragon's Fire for you. It won't burn any buildings. Although Scacha not able to do much, I think just plays... what did he do there? I missed it. I think he does... Okay, he does Dragon Sword. And then passes back. Yeah, so getting more ramp down off the board here, which is fine. We do see the Velaroth come out now from Lord, opting to not go Mordok in fear of potentially a Mercenary's Execution on the side of Scacha. Onslaught, though, does connect to the Velaroth, followed by a Dagger Storm. So now a Rat can simply trade into it, and it will perish from the board here. And meanwhile, double books from Scacha. Again, he's kind of building that hand, keeping his resources nice and consistent, which is what these decks like to do. And with, again, that OTK gone from Lord, he's struggling now to try and figure out a way to rebound properly. The Mordok scope is going to be probably his only hope here, but again, we haven't seen execution from Scacha, and we have to imagine it's coming fairly soon. On time, there it is. And of course, that I don't know if it crushes. Oh, and the Headmaster for the Bookstraw again. Oh, what a pull, what a pull. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm not sure how much Lord can do in the rest of this matchup here. He's going to get a Sniper. I imagine has to throw the scope out to keep it alive, so that way the books doesn't kill it. Because, of course, it does get that extra health. But I think Scacha definitely has a global in hand by now. Or not. Okay. Or, okay, goes with the Dramoth, which I think is going to be the way he wants to end the game here. Moving in some additional books here, moving in the Headmaster Stars, and passing back, of course, the Executions in hand, useless for the Dramoth because of that deflect ability here, meaning that the Execution has to go to the books. Sniper takes out the second copy of books, and of course he surrenders there because what are you going to do when your OTK gets stopped by Eternal Judgment? It's so rare to see Eternal Judgment in, in the game now because of its just very niche use. Like, it's fine. It's a way to block attacks from coming in, but would you ever predict it to be sort of the OTK block? No. So, it's incredible to see it get some incredible value out of this game for sure. So you got to hand it off to Scacha for teching it in. It did work for him here, and let's hope it kind of did him well in other matches after this. But yeah, that is going to do it, folks. That was our third game after all. So with that being said, let's go ahead and close out this video. Right, folks, and that is going to do it. So if you guys did enjoy this episode of TV Commentary, let me know what you thought by leaving your thoughts down in the comment section below, as well as being sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, sharing it with your friends, and of course subscribing if you're new or haven't done so already. It's the best way that you can show your support and help us grow the channel. Folks, ever so closer to that 1K mark. And if you want to be a part of history for this channel, be sure to support and hit that subscribe button below. Of course, it is free, absolutely free of charge, free to click. And of course, if you want, you could take it back later. But with that being said, that is going to do it for me for now. So, until next time, guys, stay gaming.